Okay, we are back to talk about Hijack Season 2, Episode 1, titled Signal on Apple TV. This episode written by Guy Bolton, directed by Jim Field Smith. 2 years after the events of Flight KA-29, professional negotiator Sam Nelson is in Berlin, apparently for a meeting at the British Embassy regarding new leads on the person responsible for the Kingdom Airlines hijacking. British intelligence officers, however, begin to investigate Sam's missed appointment when he does not show. See a diverse group of commuters get on a Berlin train, including Sam, some locals, British high schoolers on a field trip, and someone who used to intern at Sam's firm. Sam notices very erratic behavior from the train's driver, Otto, who is seen panicking in a restroom before getting back on and resuming his route. A man disguised as a construction worker is also shown switching tracks to divert the train into a closed line, which sends them in the wrong direction. As the train misses several stops that ignores red signals, Sam realizes something is wrong and improvises the situation by racially profiling a passenger to draw the attention of the police in a move that gets the police off the train and allows him to gain access of the conductor's booth. However, what happens at the end of this episode is quite the twist. Sam is not there to stop a train hijacking, but it is revealed to be the one behind it. We speculated at this as we talked about Hijack. Is this just this guy found himself in a situation again, or is he involved in this? They took a long 45 minutes to get there, but the last shot of this episode is us seeing that Sam is the one behind this. I don't know. Do you feel like they sort of paid off that twist at the end, or that this is something that you could sort of telegraph along the way?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was kind of telegraphing it along the way or closer to that side. I mean, I think still coming out of the end of the episode, there are a lot of questions for us to talk
Oh yeah.
about in terms of what exactly is going on here. Um, what is Sam doing? What is his plan? Um, and so on. He definitely seems, I don't know. So we'll talk about all of that. Maybe this is good, but I did find myself
Mhm.
in part as I was watching the episode wishing that they'd just given us more information and been more straightforward about it. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I just found that it seemed to be maybe from the very beginning when we see him, I don't know, buying a soda out of the machine, looking up at the cameras, being sort of shady, not wanting to talk to people, just observing what's going on, that they were sort of trending towards something, being off about what Sam is doing there. But you're right. I feel like not too much happened in this episode. All that happened was where they set up questions, and that's fine. But yeah, we sort of were left with very, very small breadcrumbs of where the season might go, and then left with this big piece of, okay, the obvious question is, why is Sam doing this, and what do these little pieces that we were left with in the first episode have to do with it all?
Yeah. And a question that I have. So, I have a lot of experience in my life on the New York City subway, right? So a lot of what was going on in this episode reminded me of that. Um, and I guess a question for our German listeners. Is it like normal for people to like chat each other up on the trains in Berlin? Because that's really not in New York City. I mean, like it might happen, but it's always kind of like, no, actually, the etiquette is you almost pretend like other people don't exist, right? We're just like
Yeah,
riding the
yeah.
train. I don't know you. You are more like an object on this train. So I wondered about
I
that a
spent
little.
I spent a few years in my teenage life and living in Europe, and they had above ground rails and trains like this. Yeah, plenty of buskers, people going around asking for money, playing music, but you're right, not a lot of interaction among strangers on those commuter trains.
Yeah, and it's like that's what I always said, about New Yorkers in regard to this. So there's that kind of perception out there from a lot of people that New Yorkers are rude or something like that. It's a different kind of etiquette, right? Like if you're in this
Yeah,
densely populated city, there's a certain way that you're polite by kind of ignoring people, like particularly when you're packed into a train. So
yeah, yeah.
uh, I don't know that bugged me just a little. Some of that's bugged me just a little
And
bit.
you just like we had to do with the Kingdom Airlines, we'll have to do on the Berlin train. We just have to leap past the idea that everyone on this train is just speaking English to one another for the most part.
Well, of course, they've got like a group of students from the UK
Yeah,
The one kid who's very nervous about being on the train in the first place. I'm sure
Yes.
that we'll get more things happening with young George having panic attacks and things like that. Um, I don't know. I mean, I have to say overall, to kind of get the negative out there towards the beginning, as I like to do. Season one, I enjoyed throughout and compelled me. Season two, I think, is off to a little bit of a rough start for me. What do you think on that front?
I 100% agree with that assessment, and I'm trying to think why. Is it because I think that just not much was accomplished this episode? Did I think maybe because it was easy to predict what was happening at the end? Is it because I was able to binge most of the first season of Hijack, and it just sort of is this, well, yeah, I want to press next and see what's happening and what does the cliffhanger or the twist lead to in the next episode, and then maybe also just a sense of, was being stuck and hijacked on a plane more interesting than being hijacked on a train that's going to be, just stuck under the underground somewhere.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Like, does it make sense to hijack a train? Is that even the right verb? I mean, I guess it works. It functions, right?
Right.
you're taking over control of the train when you're not supposed to be the one in control of the train. So like I guess that's a hijacking, but it definitely feels much more straightforwardly like you've taken that train hostage.
Yeah, and you're going to miss some things like I don't know. You see this in a lot of shows and movies. The whenever there's something that goes wrong on a plane, oh, we've got the threat of, we're at any moment going to give the order to shoot this plane down, so nothing worse happens. This train's going to go, keep going at normal speeds down the wrong track or go park somewhere, and he's going to, have these people locked in a room somewhere. It's just not the level of boy, I'm on the edge of my seat of what could happen at any moment to this thing.
Right. And also with the plane, it's kind of like, well, it could go anywhere. I recall in season one of this show, one of the things that really got my mental gears turning towards the beginning was the fact that it seemed like this group had hijacked a plane to London in order to go to London. And you're like, well, what? That doesn't, and what's the deal there, right? Like you're not changing the destination.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Whereas, yeah, with the train, where the train can only go where the tracks are. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
there are some
you're not going
predecessors.
to take out a whole city with a train. We did have in season one the layers that were uncovered about, what was going to happen if this plane went down and the stock shorting and all of that. Not really sure that can apply, but there's certainly bound to be some sort of conspiratorial things happening here, and I'm not sure we've actually uncovered yet beyond Sam and Otto. Is there anyone else on the train that's has anything to do with this?
Right. I was going to say, there are some predecessors, or at least one that they've made twice. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People have seen that film. So put me in mind of that a little bit. It's like, okay, yeah, there is tension and so on, but it does feel like it's more of a hostage situation than anything else.
Yeah.
And of course, in season one with the plane, it also kind of, boiled down to that. But then the question is, well, what are the demands?
Yes. Yes.
It would seem if Sam's the one hijacking the train. So let's do we buy this fully, right? Like, um, is it just Sam behind this, right? So, in other words, is it Sam who's coercing Otto to do what he did? Is Sam like pulling on the cheap side firm's tactics?
Mm,
I don't think he'd follow through on killing the guy's family, but you know what I mean? Like, is he
yeah.
forcing him to do this? We see some German cops raid a apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
Was that Sam's place? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I don't think that was Sam's place because it looked like they found an ID and then immediately it switched to the scene where, the line or rail line workers were leaving for the day and one of them showed up and had to show his ID. So maybe there's something there where they were uncovered some place that some group of conspirators were working in to put something together, and it has to do in some sort of triangulation with Otto, this guy who's over there switching the tracks, and Sam somehow are they all connected? I don't think that's clear yet, but there's clearly a sort of a bigger thing at play here.
Right. I agree. I don't think it was Sam's place that they broke into,
Yeah.
but because he shouldn't even really have a place
In Berlin, yeah.
in Berlin. Excuse me. I mean, I guess this is where I felt like personally, I would have just liked a bit more information from this first episode. I understand
That
what
was
they were
my
doing.
my biggest yeah, it's my biggest complaint. Exactly.
They structured the episode in this way where it was withholding that, um, trying to build tension through what we don't know. And I do think, I guess that worked, at least to some degree. Like I found this episode to be relatively stressful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I don't know, a little bit more because um I don't feel like my mind has a whole lot to work with in terms of thinking through the questions that are being presented here. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, well, was this just was Sam behind everything with the guy who messes with the tracks and with
Yeah.
coercing Otto and all of that? That's a question. And then that apartment that gets raided. But
Yeah. And is the reason for Sam's whatever it is that Sam's doing, is it the old, just standby tactics from season one, which is they're coercing him by doing something to his family or someone but does he have a family anymore besides his estranged wife who's off living on her own somewhere? So it's unclear whether they are forcing him to do that or he's doing this on his own. That's one of the probably biggest questions we have.
yeah, okay, good. That too, right? It would be a possibility that he's being coerced. He's being forced to do this. You mentioned his ex-wife Marcia, who we don't see his son. I don't know. It's possible maybe something happened to his son,
Yeah,
or
she's given flowers about an anniversary. Did he die? Is he gone? We don't know that yet.
yeah, what is that anniversary? Um,
Yeah,
I don't think it's the anniversary of the Kingdom flight, and that would also be a little weird.
that would be very weird. Yeah,
Um, it could be like her anniversary with Sam, and he sent her flowers, but they didn't even tell us who sent her the flowers, right? Like,
no,
is there
no, just that
a
they showed up at that
card?
other house and they delivered them. Yeah,
And apparently she's like vacationing at a cabin or something. And then, yeah, who are these people?
yeah,
Um, is it, I mean, of course, one possibility here is that they're totally making this up. And these are not
yeah,
list delivered flowers, but instead, you know, they're bad guys who are bringing her these flowers as a part of a veiled threat or something that will unfold. I don't know. Like in some ways, I felt like that was the most interesting scene, and but
yeah.
again, there's
I,
not a whole
I
lot to
I
work with.
agree. And the guy that was in the distance looked like he was, I may have had this wrong, looked like he was carrying a rifle or something,
Yeah, he
which,
did.
you're out in the country or something. It's not altogether weird, but yeah, why is that? And, why is he not there? So yeah, just some curious stuff I'm sure we'll be exploring.
Yeah, there's and again to go back to their son briefly. One possibility is something's happened to him bad or whatever, right? But I mean, it's
Yeah.
also possible he's at the age where he could just be like off at university or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Um,
Yeah.
but just kind of weird that they don't at all give us anything about him. And then what
Nothing. Yeah.
about Marsha's detective boyfriend?
Yep.
Are
Nothing
they
there.
still together or have they broken up at this point? Um, could he be the one sending her flowers?
Yeah.
Um, I presume I'm pretty sure he was in the trailer, so I think he's going to enter the story pretty soon.
Okay.
Along,
I was gonna say he definitely made it out of season one. So yeah, there's a good likelihood we'll see him.
yeah, and I believe Archie Punjabi's character is also in the trailer, not in this first episode. And this makes some sense, right? Because it's like they're in law enforcement kind of areas, so it's like now that the train has been hijacked, it makes sense for them to enter the story. But yeah, just in many ways, not a lot to work with this first episode, and it left me a little bit disappointed on that front.
Yeah, I would say they have. for me, they have some work to do to bring it to the I don't know the level, but I mean, Hijack season one, I think I remember telling you this at the time, just sort of came out of nowhere and just was an exciting thrill ride, and Idris Elba just playing this interesting role. So maybe there's also a bit of a we've been there, done that with him now, and there's just sort of less appeal. But just I do think it's a sense of we just weren't given very much at all, and so we're kind of left to put the pieces together ourselves.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the meeting that he misses, because this is maybe the most interesting question in my mind, um, or leads to it, right? So, like, apparently, he has been hassling
Hmm.
the whatever agency it is, represented by this woman Olivia in this episode, um, and so she set up this meeting at the embassy with the German guy. I'm sorry, I should have made better notes of people's names. I have noted that. I wrote it down somewhere, but
I think
um
I got it somewhere. Yeah.
uh and what we see is Sam doesn't show up to that meeting. She shows the German guy some photos of someone, CCTV photos of someone crossing the border in Hamburg or whatever, right? And says like, oh,
Yeah.
this is who Sam thinks is behind the hijack of the Kingdom flight. I think that's what she says. I think that's how she puts it.
Yeah, she
And
presents him with something and says she has information. This is who he thinks it is, basically. Yeah.
but so is that going to be a new character? We can't really see on those photos.
No.
We
Yeah, I think we have a lot left to learn there. And I did wonder, is it because he's getting close? Is they done something to him or someone in his orbit, which has caused him to do this? That was a thought I had.
Right, good, good. So I feel like there's two possibilities here related to why Sam misses this meeting and hijacks a train, right?
Yeah.
Like possibility one, which I think you were gesturing at, would be that he intended to go to the meeting, but he was getting close to some, higher up criminal figure to where
Hmm.
they have stepped in and threatened him
Yes.
and made him hijack this train. Maybe they're
Yes.
holding his son hostage or something. We just don't know that yet. The other possibility is that Sam's plan was to hijack the train, and he's really the one behind it. And then the question would be, well, why did he set up the meeting? But I think that could make sense as a narrative possibility where um, the point is for these things to be happening more or less at the same time, right? Because the demands that he's going to make in hijacking the train relate to what he wants the authorities to do, something like
I
that.
think that's 100% right. That's probably the best theory there is that schedule a meeting for the same time that I have been forced or coerced or have to do this other thing. I don't show what's that reason. They know I'm investigating something, so start going down that trail. I think that's a pretty reasonable assumption.
Yeah. So something like this,
Yep.
Um, sorry, topic.
Yep. So let's
Yeah,
see. That was episode one. We have seven more to go, and I'm just verifying here. This is yeah, week to week. No two or three at the beginning. This is all week to week till first couple days of March.
yeah. So hopefully it picks up a little bit.
Yep.
Or I mean, I think really the biggest thing is that we just want a little bit more information. So maybe this is one where releasing two episodes here on the first day might have been a good plan. Um, I'm still, I'm still pretty entertained though. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, it certainly was entertaining. I did find it funny. I think, yeah, season one was seven episodes. Season two is eight. So I was like, yeah, this might have been, we could squeeze some of this into another episode and make this one seven as well. But I guess if they explain it all, sort of how the pieces work together, we can forgive some of that at the very beginning if the ending is on an upswing.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, man. Again, I don't know. I don't feel like I have that much more to say about this one. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. not given much, and hopefully they can fill our plates a little bit more in the next couple episodes.
All right, then. We'll be back next week to talk about episode two, which hopefully will provide us some more information and, some more ways to work through questions in a kind of deeper fashion. So hopefully you'll join us. Hopefully you enjoy the podcast. If so, please do leave us a good rating, review, all that good stuff. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate it. Check out tvobsessive.com. You can find written work on TV, past, present, future, and so on. You can follow the site on social media. If you search for TV Obsessive, you should find us. And we'll be back with you next week.
All right, looking forward to that and see you then.